Right, in a pretty wild turn of events, I think it's wild anyway, Daredevil Born Again was outperformed by The Acolyte, which is really actually quite surprising. I mean, The Acolyte was stated to be a disaster for Disney. They've already come out and said it didn't get the right amount of views to justify it. Now, I'm not going to say that this will be something which they cancel. Daredevil Born Again's already been greenlit for a second season. They may cancel it, mind you, but the budgets are going to be different anyway. That's the only saving grace for Daredevil. But it is interesting, isn't it, that Daredevil Born Again is getting less views in the same period of time than The Acolyte. It's not good. It's a disaster for Disney. This is pretty terrible, actually. So, yeah, hit subscribe if you're new here. We're going to take a look at this, but please do turn those bell notifications on. And if you like what I do and you're a returning viewer, don't worry, I'm not going to ask newbies. But if you're a returning viewer, some of you guys may not know, I do have a Patreon, which has exclusive content, weekly content. It's linked down below in the description box, and you can support there for as little as $2 a month or upwards, and you get benefits. You can interact with me on a personal level. So please do check it out and support the channel just that little bit further. I would appreciate it. But let's take a look. So, Disney admits Daredevil Born Again performed worse than The Acolyte. There you go. Pretty bad. Pretty bloody bad, as you can see. So we've got the numbers, basically, the numbers which they themselves have quoted. The Walt Disney Company and Marvel Studios revealed that Daredevil Born Again performed worse than Lucasfilm's The Acolyte in the first 5 days after both premiered. Not good. Not good. And this is interesting because I think that they would have been similar runtimes as well. So even on the sort of runtime per view basis that they calculated on, it's shit. It's a disaster. So back in June of 2024, the Walt Disney Company revealed to Variety that The Acolyte hit 4.8 million views in its first day and went on to have 11.1 million views in its first 5 days. So that's the number that you really want to sort of hold true there. 11.1 million views in 5 days is what The Acolyte had. Now, again, they calculate a view with runtime divided by, I can't remember, something. But that's how they calculate it in a weird way. And so they're incentivized to release more episodes in one go because the runtime is longer. And that's why. And that's why it's important to compare The Acolyte with Daredevil Born Again's runtime, which I think they were pretty close to one another, to be honest. But the company has revealed its viewership numbers for Daredevil Born Again to Variety as well, and the show only clocked in at 7.5 million views in its first 5 days. That's a 32.4% decline comparatively to The Acolyte. That's awful. That's so bad. Quite shocking, actually. Now, I wonder if The Acolyte gained so many views simply because of hate watch. But you'd think that people would have been watching Daredevil Born Again out of interest rather than more out of interest than the people that were hate watching The Acolyte. Shocking, actually. I didn't hate Daredevil Born Again. I thought it was a fine premiere. That I was intrigued to see where they were going to go with it, to see if they were going to ruin it or not. Put it that way. But this is shockingly bad. 7.5 million views in 5 days is atrocious. So if you recall, the Walt Disney Company cancelled The Acolyte after its first season due to viewership being too low for its cost. Disney co-chairman Alan Bergman told Vulture, quote, "So as it relates to Acolyte, we were happy with our performance, but it wasn't where we needed to be given the cost structure of that title. Quite frankly, to go and make a season 2. So that's the reason why we didn't do that. Not good." Now, it's also likely that the show performed worse than Agatha all along, because Variety reported that Catherine Hahn-led show did 9.3 million views in its first 7 days. Fucking hell, man. I think what this does is it documents a very clear apathy seeping into audiences now. People are checking out from this. They are checking out from all of this content. So Daredevil performs slightly better than Agatha on average with 1.5 million views per day compared to Agatha's 1.3 million. But it's quite likely that much of the viewership is indeed front-loaded and there's less views the further from the show's release date, which, yeah, makes perfect sense. So the fact that the show performed worse than The Acolyte is not at all surprising, given the show did not chart in Illuminate's top 10 original streaming chart for the week of its debut. Landman was the 10th place show with 352.2 million minutes viewed, and The Acolyte charted with 210 million minutes watched in its first week. It then saw its second week numbers go to 380.5 million. Now that's all minutes combined. So IMDb reviews totals indicated that The Acolyte performed better than Daredevil Born Again as well. After its first 3 episodes were released, The Acolyte's first episode had over 11,000 reviews, its second 9.9 and the third 7.5, which is in stark contrast to Daredevil, which has 8.1 thousand reviews and then 6.7 thousand reviews for first and second episodes respectively. Pretty bad, actually. Google Trends, this is an interesting one. I like this article for doing this. Google Trends has also indicated that The Acolyte had more interest than Daredevil Born Again. The Acolyte had a higher peak when it released compared to Daredevil. The Acolyte hit 100 during the week of June 2nd to 8th, while Daredevil has only hit 60. I mean, it's really bloody bad. This is bad stuff. This is not good. Now, I do wonder, and this is why I sort of pose the question to you. Do you think that this is apathy for Disney seeping in comparatively to The Acolyte and Daredevil Born Again? Or do you think this is people not being interested in Marvel generally and superheroes and that age-old thing of superhero fatigue that people keep banging on about? I myself have mentioned it as well, obviously. But I'm curious, what do you think it is? Do you think it's a disinterest from 2024 to, from The Acolyte to now and everything that Disney has done within that time period? People are checking out from Disney wholesale. Or do you think it's people checking out from superheroes? Or do you think it's something else? Because that's the other thing. There are other options. What do you think it is? But the bottom line is, Daredevil Born Again has now performed worse than The Acolyte, which is a pretty damning indictment of the show. Now, it may be that it will accumulate more views as it goes on, gets the word out there, people start talking about it more. Who knows? I don't personally see a great deal of interest in it, but it'll be interesting to see as things move on. What do you guys think? Please do let me know down below though, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye now.